Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise due to Allah alone. We all praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, welcome to another live edition of your program Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with area code are 002 011 2500 8679, and the other number is 002 011 246 4583. Barakallahu fikum. Without any further ado, and before I answer any question, yesterday in the program of Gardens of the Pious, I promised to tackle the issue of the middle of Sha'ban. Every year's story, every Sha'ban, especially inshaAllah, tomorrow is going to be the 13th of Sha'ban. So with regards to the special worship of the middle of Sha'ban, the special prayer during the whole night of Sha'ban and so on. In fact, I would like to give you some informations about the hadith or the ahadith which have been narrated in this regard, such as the hadith which is collected by Ibn Majah and Al-Bayhaqi and others, and narrated by Amirul Mu'mineen Ali, in which it says that the Prophet ﷺ supposedly said, whenever it is the middle of Sha'ban, فَقُومُوا لَيْلَهَا وَصُومُوا نَهَارَهَا. So you should pray during its night and you should fast during its day, because Allah descends close to sunset on that night, and Allah the Almighty will say, is there anyone who's seeking forgiveness, so I shall grant him forgiveness. Is there anyone who's seeking an increase to his provision, so I will increase his provision. Is there anyone who's sick, who's asking for healing, so I would heal him and make him recover, and so on until dawn. This hadith is fabricated. Okay, so this is just the beginning. Because nowadays you will find many people circulating this hadith and encouraging people to pray during the night of Sha'ban and fast during the day of the middle of Sha'ban. Similarly, the ahadith in this regard are fabricated, and the best case scenario is a weak hadith, the hadith of Aisha radiyallahu anha. So there is nothing that can prove there is a specific act of worship during the night of Sha'ban. I said during the night of Sha'ban. The middle night of Sha'ban, or the night of the middle of Sha'ban, to be very accurate. But there is one hadith in which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَيَطَّلِعُ في ليلة النصف من شعبان فيغفر لجميع خلقه. Allah the Almighty would look at His servants during the night of the middle of Sha'ban, ليلة النصف من شعبان, فيغفر لجميع خلقه, and He will forgive all the sins of His servants, إلا لمشرك أو لمنافق, except for a non-believer, somebody who associates partners to Allah in worship, or a hypocrite. Their sins will not be forgiven, neither in the night of Sha'ban or any other night, the night of the middle of Sha'ban or any other night. Some people give a special package and a special deal to the night of Sha'ban, then the night of the middle of Sha'ban, claiming that this is the night on which Allah the Almighty will decree all the affairs of the whole year round, who will be born, who will be dead, and who will get married, who will receive children, and so on. But this is actually refuted and belied by the Quran itself. The Quran says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ مُبَارَكَةٍ, concerning Laylatul Qadr, in Surah Al-Dukhan, and in Surah Al-Qadr, Allah the Almighty says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. So the angels would descend, and Jibreel alayhi salam, with the decrees and the commands of your Lord of every affair for the whole year round of the next year. In Surah Al-Dukhan, فِيهَا يُفْرَقُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ حَكِيمٍ أَمْرًا مِّنْ عِنْدِنَا. On that night, again on Laylat al-Qadr, the night of the decree, يُفْرَقُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ. Every matter will be decreed. It has been decreed before, but it will be transmitted to the angels to execute the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the next year and so on. So that is the night which the Quran says it is the night of the decree, not the night of the middle of Sha'ban. So any hadith will talk about any decrees will take place during the middle of Sha'ban should be rejected right away. In addition to, we say that those hadith are fabricated. But we will talk about another privilege concerning the middle, not just of Sha'ban, but every lunar month soon after we take this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abu Safwan from Kuwait.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Sheikh, this is a very important question.
Naam.
And I received it from USA, from a non-Muslim.
Well, is it important because it's coming from the USA?
Yeah, no, I'm calling from Kuwait right now.
Okay.
Somebody sent me this question. This is
No.
a very personal question. And the person identity, he or she is not disclosed.
No.
And that's why the noun is used as I. So the question I received, I'm exactly reading to you, quote unquote. Okay, Sheikh?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the question is, I'm asking this question on behalf of someone. I am transgender and I have always been interested in Islam. I have read much of the Quran and the Hadith, and I have always thought that if I were to convert to a religion, it would be Islam. But I am unclear about the stance on transgender and transsexuality. Is it accepted? Unquote. So this is the question, Sheikh, I received. If you could kindly reply, I shall be grateful. Jazakallah.
Wa jazakum, Abu Safwan. Inshallah, I will answer you. Let me just continue with regards to the middle of Sha'ban, because this is every year's story, of course. During the month of Sha'ban, especially we're approaching the middle of Sha'ban. But in the sound hadith which is collected by Al-Bukhari or Muslim and narrated by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, أوصاني خليلي بثلاث. He said, my best companion have enjoined me to do three things. Recommended for me to adhere to doing three things. ركعتي الضحى, to pray the two rak'ahs of the duha. وصيام ثلاثة أيام من كل شهر, and to fast during 3 days of every lunar month, of course. وأن أوتر قبل أن أنام, and to offer my witr prayer before going to sleep. What concerns us in this sound hadith is the second nasiha or advice, which is وصيام ثلاثة أيام, to fast for 3 days every lunar month. The Prophet ﷺ used to fast during the 13th, 14th and 15th of every lunar month, and he called them Al-Ayyamul Bid. So it is a sunnah to fast during those days. So the 15th of Sha'ban, the 15th of Rajab, the 15th of Shawwal, the 15th of every lunar month, it is highly recommended to fast along with the previous 2 days. To the point that if the person was not able to fast during the 3 days, 13th, 14th and 15th, for a reason or another, you can make them up during any other time of the lunar month. in order to fast 3 days of every month at least. This is all voluntary, of course. So if you're going to fast, tomorrow, inshallah, will be the 13th. Wednesday, the 13th of Sha'ban. You see, time is slipping by very fast, and Ramadan is just around the corner. And for many of us who used not to fast voluntary fasting, by fasting 13th, 14th, and 15th, now they need to pause and take a break until the beginning of Ramadan. This is only for those who did not have the habit of fasting regularly, voluntary fasting. But those who used to fast before, they may continue fasting until a day or two before Ramadan, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Samir, assalamu alaikum. Samir, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I just I have one question only today.
No.
Of course, Allah said for those Muslims who follow the right way when they are on Dunya, Allah has the best of the best in Akhirah. Allah will give them the Jannah and provide them if they are named Nur al-Ain. Nur al-Ain. What about, I didn't hear, what about for our sisters, mothers, what is provided for them?
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you
Wa
very much.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, first of all, Brother Abu Safwan, the person who is not Muslim yet, and he or she said that they are transgenders or homosexual, and the person says that he's very much or she is very much interested in accepting Islam. If they were to adopt any religion, it should be Islam. But they don't know what will be the stand of Islam concerning homosexuality and so on, and the transgender. Number one, if we go to the Quran, we will find in Surah An-Nisa 2 ayat. In this surah, explain the most important fact which every person should keep in mind, which is fact number one: إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء ومن يشرك بالله فقد افترى إثما عظيما. The other ayah ends up with فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا, but both are in Surah An-Nisa. What does the ayah mean? Indeed, Allah does not forgive shirk. If any person died in a state of disbelief, if any person died without recognizing the oneness of Allah, not believing in monotheism, not believing in the message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why knowing about that, he or she will never be forgiven. Well, this is the verdict of the Quran revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because whoever sets partners to Allah in worship has indeed committed a great sin. That is the greatest sin ever, which will never be forgiven. End of story. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about all other major sins and said that those sins will be forgiven, no matter how great, how major, how severe. Let me show you some ayat from the Quran, but after this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Abu Hafad from Qatar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Go ahead.
I have two questions.
Naam, go ahead,
The first
please.
question is regarding Hajj Tamattu.
Naam,
I am asking this question on behalf of my friend.
naam.
He has performed Hajj Tamattu, and on 10th of Dhul Hajjah, he made Tawaful Ifada, but he didn't do the Sa'i out of ignorance, thinking that Sa'i is not required for Hajj Tamattu.
Mm.
What is the kafara for this idea?
Okay, where is he now?
And he is in India.
He's in India. Okay.
Yeah.
طيب, I will answer you inshallah, brother Abu Hafad. Okay, thank you. So we're talking about the person who's interested in accepting Islam, but they have this problem. So we said, number one, we have to understand that Allah will never forgive shirk, but He forgives any other sins if the person repents and seeks forgiveness. So if you go to Surah Al-Furqan, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَا يَزْنُونَ. He mentioned three big sins: shirk, killing, murder, and adultery. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَى أَثَامًا يُضَاعَفْ لَهُ الْعَذَابُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَيَخْلُدْ فِيهِ مُهَانًا إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا. Except if that person have repented, believed, and did good righteous deeds, then Allah is going to convert. فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ. Allah is going to convert their bad deeds into good deeds. So what you need to do now, without even thinking twice, is if you're ready to become Muslim, even if you're homosexual, even if you are involved in adultery, even if you are alcoholic, even if you are a drug dealer, one thing that you gotta keep in mind, the chance may never come back again. Why? Because if the person dies before saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, his fate has been determined forever. Not a chance to receive salvation. If the person does not believe in the oneness of God, he will not be eligible for any forgiveness. This is what the Quran says. But if the person was involved in any sense, even if he is punished for them, eventually, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يخلد في النار من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من إيمان. One who has even an atom weight of iman, of faith, of belief in his heart, shall never stay forever in fire. Which means the person eventually may be forgiven or may be punished for his or her sins, including adultery or homosexuality or drinking or whatever. Okay? One thing that people need to realize, that when the person is not in Islam, does not taste the sweetness of Islam, does not recite Quran, does not perform wudu, does not pray and communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is an easy hunt for Satan. Satan hunts such person, convinces him that this is a good thing to do, makes it seem fair and beautiful to them to do what is evil. But Satan said, إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. I can mislead anyone except your servants, the chosen ones. When you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and for the first time you start praying and you start learning about your deen, I assure you, as I have seen many people who are alcoholic, and they thought they would never quit drinking. They quit drinking. They do not even smoke. They get very offended when they pass by somebody who is smoking or drinking. I assure you that you will quit whatever you're doing, because this practice is condemned by all religions. By all religions. By Islam and otherwise. So my point is, if you're thinking about accepting Islam, even if you're involved in this practice, accept Islam without hesitation, right now. Perform ghusl, learn how to pray, and you will see wonders. Communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will see wonders. Do you think that there are not Muslims who are involved in such thing? And in adultery and in drinking? They are. But because they are distant from Allah, eventually they don't pray, eventually they are not in a pure condition, eventually they eat from haram, and because of that, Satan made it seem fair to them to even explore other areas of haram. Abu Safwan told this person not to sleep tonight before making the shahada, performing ghusl, and will be more than happy to communicate with him or her, inshallah, one-on-one basis, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Amina from Kenya, please try again. We have Samir. Brother Samir is asking a typical question that many people ask. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, For instance, in Surah Al-Rahman, لَمْ يَطْمِثْهُنَّ إِنسٌ قَبْلَهُمْ وَلَا جَانٌ, concerning the purified females whom Allah will reward, the believers, the men in paradise. What would women get? I would like to assure you that in Surah Qaf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer all questions concerning what will you get in Jannah. When a child asks me, will I get PlayStation in Jannah? Will we get a Nintendo? Will we get to play freely, or somebody has to give us some time and time up? لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ. For those who will enter paradise, everything they desire. And Allah has even more than what they ask for, which is getting to see Him. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded the believing men with al-hurul ayn, لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان حور مقصورات في الخيام, etc., purified females in Al-Jannah, well, women will get the following. المرأة لآخر أزواجها في الجنة. A woman will get married to the husband whom she was married to the last in paradise, in the dunya, in case that she married multiple marriages. And in case that all her husbands and ex-husbands were believers and made it to heaven, that she will marry the last person whom she was married to in the life of this world. And a woman can marry only one person at a time. Oh, but how would she compete with Al-Hurul Ain? Well, the Prophet ﷺ said that she will be the beauty queen and more beautiful than Al-Hurul Ain themselves. So keep in mind what Allah said, لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ. Just be concerned about one thing, how to get there, and don't worry about what would you get. Because basically, whatever crosses your mind, and whatever not even cross your mind, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, فيها ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. In Al-Jannah there will be what no eyes have ever seen, no ears have ever heard of, and what have never crossed anybody's mind. In Surah Muhammad we read that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there will be rivers of wine. But يتنازعون فيها كأسا لا لغو فيها ولا تأثيم. This ka'as, the drink, the alcohol which they will drink will not make them intoxicant. So what kind of khamr, what kind of alcohol is it? This is a purified drink which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have prepared for the dwellers of Al-Jannah. Furthermore, as you see in movies, people who drink, they come to the last step and they spill it in their mouth fast because it's very bitter. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِزَاجُهُ مِن تَسْنِيمٍ, and He says, وَخِتَامُهُ مِسْكٍ. خِتَامُهُ مِسْكٍ. It will have fragrance concerning the drink, and the seal thereof will be of the musk. It smells great and it tastes great, and you would not get intoxicated. In Al-Jannah, just worry about entering Al-Jannah. And there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you could never imagine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aisha from Nigeria. Sister Aisha. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aisha.
I am asking regarding the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Alayhi salatu
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
Alayhi salatu wasalam.
which says that a woman is not supposed to travel for 3 days without her male mahram.
Now,
I want to embark on a medical treatment abroad. I am a married woman, but my husband cannot afford it, but I can afford to travel. Is it permissible? One. Secondly, my sisters and brothers used to send their adult daughters abroad to study. I told them that because of that hadith, it's not permissible for a grown-up girl to travel without a male mahram. But they said that because they are teaching for education outside, that is permissible. So I'm asking on their behalf, is it permissible for a grown-up daughter regarding that hadith to travel abroad for studies. Thank you, Sheikh.
Thank you, Sister Aisha from Nigeria. Barakallahu fiki. As you say, the hadith is very clear and its meaning is very obvious, and the ruling, everyone could understand it. But similar to every prohibition in Islam, in case of necessity, where you don't have any other choice and it is very necessary to do this, it becomes permissible. It has been made permissible for a Muslim to eat the dead or the swine flesh if the person cannot find anything to eat, to drink wine if the person is thirsty to death and there is nothing but alcohol. So, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ فِي مَخْمَصَةٍ غَيْرَ مُتَجَانِفٍ لِإِثْمٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. One who's forced, one who is in a great necessity, and he or she do not desire to do this because they know it is haram. They don't like it, but they do it because it's a necessity. Then فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. So in your case, if you don't have anyone to drop you off, to travel with you, or you guys cannot afford it, and it is required, and it is not available, the treatment is not available in your local city or area, and you have to do it, then you have to do it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you. Then the answer will be very obvious also concerning traveling without a necessity, such as for tourism or getting a degree or whatever concerning your niece. Barakallahu fikum. Abu Hafaz from Qatar, who asked about somebody who performed Hajj Tamattu and forgot to do a sa'i, and then they finished their Hajj and they left. They must go back to do the sa'i because they have not completed their Hajj yet. So perhaps what they can do is put on their ihram and go for Umrah and then do the sa'i for the Hajj, because Al-Hajj consists of 4 pillars: Al-Ihram, Al-Tawaf, Al-Sa'i. Al-Tawaf, Al-Sa'i, and Arafah. And obviously, the day of Arafah precedes Tawaf al-Hajj and its Sa'i. But if the person happened to perform Hajjul Qiran, did Hajj and Umrah together, without shaving, without trimming the hair, or doing tahallul in between. So the sa'i, if the person performed the Umrah first, did the Tawaf, then did the sa'i, then went to Arafah, then when he returned from Arafah and threw the stones, or if he's muta'ajjil, went to perform Tawaf, he doesn't have to do another sa'i, because he joined the Umrah and the Hajj together in one. But if he's doing Hajj with Tamattu', now he is missing one of the pillars of the Hajj, which is as-sa'i. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. We'll take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Imagine that the Anbiya, they were the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the hardest time.
He assumed that he had some kind of superiority and he was a better, more chosen, better person because he had this wealth. And then you look at all the other people who had wealth, and some of them were the worst people. You had Fir'aun and Qarun.
Reviving your niyyah time and again, that you're doing insincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Most of the youth, they think, oh, I'm going to pray when I'm old, it's okay now, I'll have fun in my life. Later on I'll work, I'll go on my bed, I'll pray 5 times a day. And all these things, they think that's later on in their life, and they don't know when they will die.
Amira, who's your role model?
Khadija radiallahu anha.
And why?
Because she was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife, and she was the first lady to believe in Islam.
Let's start from where they started. Who are they? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When they started learning the religion of Islam, they started with the Aqidah, the belief system, faith. Brothers and sisters in Islam, dear viewers, the Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca teaching that generation the belief system, the Aqidah. Aisha radiallahu anha confirms this by saying, the first things which were revealed from the Quran was matters of Aqidah. Who is Allah? Jannah, paradise and hell. Jundub ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, we learned the belief system, we learned the Iman, we learned the Aqidah, then we learn the Quran. Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowadays, a lot of our cultural practices, a lot of our societal norms are against our belief system. And the reason why we're falling into this, because we did not start from where they started. Join me, Kareem Abu Zaid, twice a week on Huda TV screen with the new edition, Aqidah Matters. See you
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abdul Wahab from the KSA. Brother Abdul Rauf, I'm sorry.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my request is, could you please upload your travel dates since you will be traveling inshallah to Makkah during Ramadan, so that we can also try our best in our capacities to have a chance to meet you in Makkah inshallah.
Well, you need to make dua so that I can make it inshallah. You know, it's
inshallah,
not that
wallahi,
easy.
we are making it all the time, so that Allah make it easy for you.
I did apply for the visa already, and hopefully inshallah we'll get it. If this is the case, inshallah, if you leave your number, inshallah, I'll personally let you know. Inshallah Azza Jal.
Okay, thank you, Sheikh. And my question is, could you please upload some supplications, because whenever we go to condole somebody on his close relative's death, what is the dua we can make during that time?
Sure.
For the dead person. If you can upload it on your Facebook page, that will be great.
I will, and I will say right now, then inshallah I'll post it hopefully tonight, which you say, لله ما أخذ ولله ما أعطى وكل شيء عنده بأجل مسمى فلتصبر ولتحتسب. And this is a supplication that the Prophet ﷺ said when his daughter sent to him that his grandchild was expiring. So he said, لله ما أخذ, to Allah belongs whatever he took, ولله ما أعطى, and to him belongs what he gave, وكل شيء عنده بأجل مسمى, everything happens with him with a fixed term. And then he said to the person who delivered the message, مرها فلتصبر ولتحتسب, you say to the person also likewise, be patient and anticipate the reward from Allah for your patience for this calamity. Brother Abu Hafad from Qatar, we didn't finish answering your question. I said the person who did not do a sa'i has to return to perform a sa'i, because now he has not completed his or her hajj. There's one thing that you got to keep in mind. Hajjul Ifrad and Hajjul Tamattu', they require sa'i. In a sense that independent sa'i, like if the person in Hajjul Qiran did Umrah and Hajj together without taking off the ihram in between, so if he did the sa'i after Tawaf al-Qudum, that's it, he doesn't owe another sa'i. But if the person intended to do Hajj al-Tamattu', and obviously you and him are very aware of Hajj al-Tamattu', because you said he did Hajj al-Tamattu'. You do your Umrah, you take off your ihram, and then on the 8th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, you announce a new intention of ihram for Hajj. So the person is still actually in ihram. There are two types of tahallul. Tahallul asghar and tahallul akbar. In the case of Umrah, it's only one tahallul. Once you finish your sa'i, you shave or you trim your hair, and now you're free to do everything. Clip your nails, shave your hair, wear perfume, wear irregular clothes, or even have sexual relation with your spouse. But in the case of the Hajj, by throwing the stones, by doing all of that and shaving the head, you can dress in irregular clothes, clip the nail, shave the head, wear perfume, but you will not be able to have an intimate relationship with your spouse before performing tawaf and sa'i. That is known as at-tahallul al-akbar, complete tahallul. So, if this person did not perform sa'i, now he or she won't be able to have intimate relationship with their spouses until they go back to do a sa'i. Somebody is going to say, that's very severe. Simply, we say it repeatedly, brothers and sisters, if anyone is going to any trip, my last trip to Singapore, you pull out the weather forecast, what the weather will be like, how many hours is the flight, what I need to wear there. Besides giving lectures, what are the sightseeing that you like to see, the masajid, etc. Many people go for Hajj, don't bother to know what Hajj is all about. They just show up at Jeddah airport and said, Sheikh, they look for the longest beard. Sheikh, what am I supposed to do next? I came to perform Hajj. Well, did you do Ihram? Or what Ihram is all about? No, not yet. You just crossed the miqat without doing the Ihram. That is a first violation. You skipped a wajib. There is a penalty. And next, please, it's only an hour and a half. You attend one lecture. You watch our program, Hajj, step by step. Make sure that every person is going for Hajj, you give him the link to the program. It's for free. It costs us a lot of money, and alhamdulillah, shukrullah, by the grace of Allah, we're able to make it. But it is for free. All what you need to do is spend some time to learn about Hajj. It shows you what is right and what is wrong and what you have to do. Ajib, very amazing that the Prophet ﷺ has said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. How would you know about anything without seeking knowledge concerning that thing? You're going for Hajj. What do you know about Hajj? What do you know about Tamattu', Qiran, Ifrad, and why would you choose this? And in case of any violation, you know, Brother Abu Hafaz, I'm not necessarily addressing you or your friend, but this is a general advice. We're approaching Ramadan, and a lot of people will be going for Umrah, and trust me, they will show up at Jeddah airport and will say, I want to make Ihram. Make Ihram? Too late. You just made a big violation. Making the Ihram from the appointed place, whether airborne in the plane, or you're coming by the bus, or sailing by a boat, you have to know where is the miqat. It depends on your destination, where you're coming from. Those questions you have to ask, you have to find out about. Watch the program, read some books. If you watch the program, you would not need to ask any questions by the grace of Allah. So now he's still in a state of ihram. Yani, yes, he can clip the nails, shave, wear whatever he wants, and wear the perfume. Those restrictions of the minor ihram are waived. But the biggest one, which is having an intimate relationship, is still effective. You're going to say, but the person had several relations with his spouse unknowingly. Well, there is a fidya still. You slaughter a sheep in Mecca and you distribute it among the poor people. And please apply for Umrah and perform your Umrah, then perform the sa'i independently, insha'Allah, for your Hajj in order to complete your Hajj. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from Nigeria. Muhammad, assalamu alaikum. Naam.
The other time you answered a question regarding performing ablution without clothes.
Yeah.
In a place where nobody sees you. And it's not permissible for you to touch your private part with your hand. But my question is it okay while you're cleaning with a towel to touch your private part with a towel? That's my question, Sheikh.
Okay. Now, thank you. If you happen to clean up yourself using a towel and something is standing between your hand and your private, no problem. That would not invalidate or void your wudu at all. Okay? يعني, the issue is with touching your private with bare hands, okay, with your palm. And this matter also is a point of difference between the scholars because of conflicting references. But in the case of having two different hadiths and not knowing which one was first to abrogate, which one was last to abrogate the first, in this case, it is better to take the one which prevents. So, it is better to avoid touching your private with your bare hands or palm after wudu, or if it happens, then you should make a new wudu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhana.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have just one question, please.
Now.
Does the soul of a teenage child, it remains in the body in barzakh, or it is in the heavens with Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam?
Okay.
And what about other pious Muslims? What happens to the soul?
Okay. Sure.
And one more question is, what is the age of a child in Islam when he or she can be considered as a complete adult? When his deeds, they can be counted, whether good or bad.
Can you repeat your second question again, Sister Fatima, please?
What is the age of a child in Islam when he or she can be considered as a complete adult?
Okay.
When his good and bad deeds, they can be written 14, 15, what is the exact age?
Okay. Barakallahu feek.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. With regards to your first question concerning al-barzakh, which is a transitory life between the life in this world and the hereafter, which is basically the life in the grave. Everybody who died experiences life in the barzakh, whether this grave is an actual grave or a grave in the sea, in the ocean, being swallowed by a whale or eaten by a wild animal. Each person will experience hayatul barzakh. In the long hadith al-Bara ibn Azib, may Allah be pleased with him, we'll just take the segment which talks about the soul. After taking the soul of the believers, ascending the first, second, third, up to the seventh heaven, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, اكتبوا روح عبدي في عليين, which is the highest book, the record of the believers. Then He will order the soul to be sent back to earth. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. The ayah. From the earth we created you, and to the earth we return you, and from the earth we resurrect you once again. Then the soul will be instilled in the body for the test of the grave. Munkar wa Nakir. They will ask the dead person the questions, as you know. And afterward, the person answers the questions rightly, he will be able to see his seat in heaven. And his soul will be in heaven. The bodies decay. The bodies decompose. But the soul will have its seat either in heaven or hell. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. With regards to the second question, at what age do children be accountable? And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the sound hadith, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمُ عَنْ ثَلَاثٍ. The pen that records one's actions is left up, does not record the actions of three categories. مِنْهُمْ الصَّبِيُّ حَتَّى يَبْلُغُ. One of the three categories, the child until he or she reaches the age of puberty. The age of puberty could be recognized by some physiological signs, physical signs, or by simply the wet dreams for both the boys and the girls, experiencing wet dreams, and also amongst the other signs that growing the underarm hair and the pubic area, that's for both boys and girls, deepening the voice for the boys, even if they do not experience the wet dreams. If none of those signs appear, then at the age of 15, the child will be considered baligh. According to many of the jurists, will be treated as an adult. The word adult in fiqh means baligh, reach the age of puberty. Reach the age of puberty, which is the age of accountability. That could be experienced way before that. There are many girls at the age of 9, at the age of 10, who experience the monthly period. And the monthly period is the greatest significant sign of reaching the age of puberty, which comes with a package. The package is, once the child reaches the age of puberty, there was many acts of worship which were voluntary. But now, once the child reaches the age of puberty, they become mandatory. And they also come with a package concerning the ibadat. For instance, if one took his family with him to perform Hajj and Umrah, and before the day of Arafah, his daughter started the period. She was 11, 12, or 13. That's good and bad in the same time. Good in a sense that now when she performs this Hajj, it will be Hajjatul Islam. It will count as fulfilling the 5th pillar of the deen, because she fulfilled it while she was in the age of puberty, after puberty. Bad because this is like shocking news for the girl. She was not exposed to that before. She doesn't know, and so on. So what every parent need to do is the couple need to discuss this beforehand and prepare themselves and their children for this big deal of transformation. Once a child is 10 or so, sometimes, as I said, in some areas due to luxurious life, the puberty may be earlier than that. Okay, so the parents have to discuss this, and they have to be open with each other, and do not just let the school handle it. And this is the beauty of having the two parents living and raising the children together. So with the boys, it will be the job of the father, who have to explain to the boys what is the meaning of a wet dream. When the person experiences a wet dream, it comes with a big package. Some people, some youth, when they experience wet dreams, because it's more common amongst boys, they perceive it as nocturnal enuresis, like they have urinated while asleep, without any control. But in fact, it is not like that. It was a dream, that the person had a dream. It's called a wet dream because the person was dreaming of having a sexual relation, and it led to sexual discharge, which is known as ejaculation. This sexual discharge makes the person in a state of major impurity. You cannot just simply get up, take off your clothes, throw it in the washer, then in the dryer, and make wudu and pray. No, you can't. Because now, in order to be capable to pray, to enter the masjid, to do tawaf, to read the Quran or hold the Quran, you have to perform ghusl. So the child may actually live for years without knowing these facts. Why? Because the parents, particularly the fathers, thought that the school will teach them, or they will learn on their own, and now they live in an open world. They must have learned that online. No, it's your duty. You have to explain to them. For the girl, another package that it comes along with it, the hijab. We're training our children, the girls, to wear hijab, but once the girl reaches the age of puberty, now she must wear hijab. We ran out of time. Until then, until next episode, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you all and to teach us what we don't know and to help us to act upon what we have learned. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.